What if the people accusing Michael Jackson today weren't strangers, but people he once called family? That sounds crazy, but it's exactly what just happened. A court has now exposed what Michael Jackson's estate says was a $213 million extortion attempt by people who were extremely close to him. These weren't enemies. These weren't outsiders. They were the Cascio family, the same people Michael trusted, supported, and referred to as his second family. For years, they stood by him. Then suddenly, everything changed.
He loves children sincerely. No sexual anything toward children at all. I really think it's just been blown out of proportion.
This story isn't just about accusations. It's about betrayal, greed, and how far some people are willing to go when the money stops. And when this finally reached a judge, the outcome shocked a lot of people. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this case matters, and why Michael Jackson's legacy was targeted by the very people who once claimed to protect it. For a long time, Michael Jackson didn't just see the Cascio family as friends. He saw them as family. It started back in 1984. Michael met Dominic Cascio while staying at a hotel in New York. They talked, connected, and before long, Michael was invited into Dominic's home. That's where everything changed. Michael didn't act like a global superstar around them. He was just Michael. He sat at their kitchen table, ate dinner with them, talked late into the night. He felt safe there. He started calling them his second family. Imagine that for a second. The most famous man on earth, feeling most comfortable in a regular family home in New Jersey. Michael spent holidays with them. Christmases, Thanksgivings, he brought gifts for the kids, Disney stuff, books, little thoughtful things. He even trusted them with his own children. Very few people had that level of access to Michael's life. And when Michael went through hell in the 90s and early 2000s, the Cascio family stood by him. Publicly, loudly, they said again and again that nothing ever happened.
Gavin came to Michael and said, "Michael, could we sleep in your room tonight?" And Michael looked at me and says, "I don't know, I think you better ask your mother." "Oh, we already asked our mother. She says, sure, no problem." I'm like, no, this is something's odd. This is not right. And then as I was about to go tell Gavin that he cannot sleep in Michael's room, Michael says, "Okay, I have a solution for this. You have to sleep in the room with me."
They defended him on TV, in interviews, for years. Frank Cascio especially was incredibly close to Michael. He grew up traveling with him. Later, he even became Michael's personal assistant. Michael treated him almost like a son. This wasn't a casual friendship. This was built on trust, loyalty, and love. And that's why what happened next hurt so much. After Michael passed away in 2009, fans were emotional but hopeful when a new album was announced. In 2010, an album called Michael was released. Some of the songs were said to be recorded in the Cascio family's basement. Eddie Cascio claimed Michael recorded them during visits to their home. But the moment fans heard the songs, something felt wrong. That didn't sound like Michael. Longtime fans, music experts, even people close to Michael said the same thing. This isn't his voice. Rumors started spreading that the vocals were done by an imitator, not Michael. And the more people looked into it, the worse it got. Forensic voice experts later backed up what fans already believed. Michael never sang those songs. Let that sink in. Songs were sold to the world under Michael Jackson's name, and he didn't even record them. In 2022, those songs were quietly removed from all major streaming platforms. No big announcement, no apology, just gone. For fans, it felt like a punch in the gut. People Michael trusted was selling fake music using his name. That was the first crack, and it wasn't the last. In 2011, Frank Cascio released a book called My Friend Michael, An Ordinary Friendship with an Extraordinary Man. On the surface, it sounded loving. Frank talked about their friendship. He defended Michael. He said Michael never hurt anyone, that his love was misunderstood. And as a fan, I remember thinking, okay, at least someone close to him is telling the truth. But looking back now, it feels different. Michael was gone. He couldn't respond. He couldn't correct anything. And Frank was selling Michael's story for money. Book deals, interviews, TV appearances. The Cascio family even went on Oprah, presenting themselves as Michael's loyal friends. It started to feel less like defending Michael and more like using him. Appear loyal, stay visible, make money. And then things took a very dark turn. In 2019, the documentary Leaving Neverland came out and brought massive pressure on Michael's estate. This was the moment when real friends would stand firm. The Cascios had defended Michael for decades, but according to court filings, Frank Cascio did the opposite. The estate says Frank approached them with a threat. Pay us or we'll join the accusations. Think about that. The same people who said for 30 years that nothing ever happened were now suggesting the opposite. The estate believed these claims were lies, but they were trapped. If those accusations went public, Michael's children would suffer. His legacy would be destroyed again. So in early 2020, the estate made a painful decision. They paid around $16.5 million over several years to stop the accusations from spreading. Not because Michael was guilty, but to protect his children and his name. A contract was signed. Silence. No future claims, private arbitration only. Everyone agreed. The estate believed it was over, but they were wrong. Fast forward to 2024. Michael's catalog was booming. A massive deal with Sony was in the works. His legacy was stronger than ever. That's when Frank Cascio came back. This time, the demand was insane. According to the estate, Frank demanded $213 million. If they didn't pay, he would go public with accusations.
Am I a pattern too? No. I'm still his friend? Yes.
Well, there would be people who would say you would fit the pattern very much.
I would fit the pattern?
Look at the pictures of the 1993 accuser. Look at the picture of the present accuser.
I'm going to tell you something. If Michael Jackson ever laid a finger on me, I would not be in this chair right now.
That's not negotiation, that's extortion. And the way he handled it was even more disturbing. Frank demanded a meeting at a luxury hotel in Los Angeles, by the pool. And he insisted everyone wear swimsuits. Why? So no one could hide a recording device? Ask yourself this. Why would someone telling the truth be scared of being recorded? The estate refused to give in. Instead, they took legal action, accusing Frank of breaking the original agreement and attempting extortion. This time, they weren't backing down. Then came another shock. Frank Cascio hired Mark Garagos as his lawyer, the same lawyer who once defended Michael, the same man who publicly said Michael was innocent and called the accusations lies.
If anybody doesn't think, based upon what's happened so far, that the true motivation of these charges and these allegations is anything but money and the seeking of money, then they're living in their own Neverland.
Now he was representing the people attacking Michael's legacy. It felt unreal. With Garagos involved, the demand dropped from $213 million to $44 million. Still massive, still unacceptable. The estate said no. They knew the contract protected them. And finally, the case went to court. On January 14th, 2026, a judge reviewed the case, and the decision was clear. The court sided with Michael Jackson's estate. The judge said the 2020 agreement was valid and that the Cascios were not forced to sign it. Any pressure they felt came from within their own family, not from the estate. There would be no public trial, no media circus, no payday. The case was sent to private arbitration, exactly as the contract required. In simple terms, the court shut it down. After the ruling, Michael's nephew TJ Jackson spoke publicly on X. Those guys are absolute snakes. My uncle did nothing but try to help them and support their family. When he passed, the money stopped, so they had to try multiple ways to leech off of him. First fake songs, then supportive books, appearances, and now extorting the estate. All this as adults, might I add. It's always about money with them and all these other frauds. Disgusting. Hashtag MJ innocent. I'll be honest, this story makes me angry. Not because of rumors, but because of betrayal. Michael trusted these people. He loved them. And they tried to destroy his name when he wasn't there to defend himself. But the truth came out. The court saw it. The estate stood strong. And Michael's legacy survived another attack. Now I want to hear from you. Does this make you angry, sad, disappointed? Let me know in the comments. Because this isn't just about Michael Jackson. It's about what happens when greed replaces loyalty. And in this case, greed lost.